Hello students, today I am going to discuss a topic that is necrosis for the subject cellular and molecular pharmacology for master in pharmacology first year students. Let's start it. So necrosis basically it is defined as a localized area of death of tissue followed by degradation of tissue by hydrolytic enzymes liberated from dead cells. It is invariably accompanied by inflammatory reaction. Various agents such as hypoxia, chemical and physical agents, microbial agents, immunological injury, etc. Two essential changes characterize irreversible cell injury in necrosis of all types, basically cell digestion by lytic enzymes and denaturation of proteins. Mainly there are 5 types of necrosis. We all know that: coagulative, liquefaction, caseous, and then fat and fibrinoid necrosis. We will discuss one by one. First one is your coagulative necrosis. It is a form of tissue necrosis in which the component cells are dead, but the basic tissue architecture is preserved for at least several days. Okay, the affected tissues take on a firm texture. Okay, it takes on a firm texture. Then presumably the injury denatures not only structural proteins but also enzymes, and so blocks the proteolysis of the dead cells. So this, in case of coagulative necrosis, the mainly thing is that it blocks the proteolysis of the dead cells. As a result, eosinophilic enucleate cells may persist for days or weeks. Ultimately, the necrotic cells are removed by phagocytosis of the cellular debris. So this is the small introduction of your coagulative necrosis. Then liquefaction necrosis. Due to ischemic injury or bacterial or fungal infection, degradation of tissue by the action of powerful hydrolytic enzymes. So in this necrosis, mainly the common examples are mainly infarct brain or your abscess cavity. Okay. What about the pathogenesis? Liquefaction completely digests the dead cells, then resulting in transformation of the tissue into a liquid viscous mass. If the process was initiated by acute inflammation, the material is frequently creamy yellow and is called pus. We all know that. Okay. Now caseous necrosis. Okay. In caseous necrosis, it is mainly found in the center of foci of tuberculous infection. It combines features of both coagulative and liquefactive necrosis. Okay. Term caseous, that is cyst-like, is derived from the friable yellow-white appearance of the area of necrosis. Then your fat necrosis. It refers to the focal areas of fat destruction, acute pancreatic necrosis, traumatic fat necrosis commonly in breast. This is under fat necrosis. Then second point, that is pancreatic enzymes that have leaked out of acinar cells and ducts. Okay, pancreatic enzymes that have leaked out of acinar cell and ducts liquefy the membranes of fat cells in the peritoneum. Lipases split the triglyceride esters contained within fat cells to fatty acid. This combines calcium to produce grossly visible chalky white areas. So this point is under the fat necrosis. Now the last one is your fibrinoid necrosis. It is characterized by deposition of fibrin-like material which has staining properties of fibrin. It is encountered in various examples of immunologic tissue injury, for example immunocomplex vasculitis, autoimmune disease and Arthur's reaction. And third one is arterioles in hypertension and peptic ulcer. So these are a introduction of the small introduction of necrosis. Before I going to conclude this video, I will give some more introduction. That is, we all know that cellular death due to necrosis does not follow the apoptotic signal transduction pathway. Okay, but rather various receptors are activated and results in the loss of cell membrane integrity. We all know that, and an uncontrolled release of products of your cell death into the extracellular space. This initiates in the surrounding tissue and inflammatory responses, which attracts leukocytes and nearby phagocytes, which eliminate the dead cells by phagocytosis. Okay. However, your microbial damaging substances released by leukocytes would create collateral damage to the surrounding tissues. Okay, this excess collateral damage, which I have already discussed, collateral damage inhibits the healing process. Okay, thus untreated necrosis results in a buildup of decomposing dead tissue, okay, and cell debris at or near the site of the cell death. Okay, a classic example is gangrene. For the reason, it is often necessary to remove necrotic tissue surgically or procedure known as debridement. Okay, so this is the some overview of the process necrosis part. Okay, thank you for watching this video.